On behalf of President F. King Alexander, all the faculty, staff, and students at Cal State Long Beach, I welcome you here to our campus today. We are delighted to be part of this multifaceted partnership to present this timeless exhibit for our edification and our remembrance. We're especially indebted to Roman Kochin, Dean of the University Library, Danny Colano, the Director of Facilities, Tracy Mayfield, the Associate Dean in the Library, for making this space available and for being so gracious to host this event on campus. We're also indebted to Dean Jerry Raposa of the College of Liberal Arts and Jeff Blutinger, Professor of Jewish Studies, who is also the Barbara and Ray Alpert Endowed Chair of Jewish Studies. Other of our dignitaries will be introduced in a bit. The Courage to Remember is a traveling exhibition, first circulated in 1991. It's traveled far and wide, and it's back again, and its message is the same. When the Foundation for California and the Museum of Tolerance and the Simon Wiesenthal Center combined to make this happen and to make it circulate again, it is a benefit for all of us to be reminded of our world's history. When we hear the words 6 million, racial superiority, Auschwitz, Dachau, the final solution, we're reminded of the horrific, despicable, subhuman events that are depicted in this exhibit. Education must be ongoing. We know that our world's record in Holocaust has not improved since those days. It hasn't stopped. There are Holocausts ongoing. I'm reminded of the quote from Dante, who said, "The hottest places in hell are reserved for those who, in a time of great moral crisis, maintain their neutrality." Again, we're delighted to be a partner in this exhibition, in this exhibit. We're delighted to have you all here today, and we hope that this will be part of ongoing associations and relationships that benefit not only the campus, but this city and in our community. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Fred Balitzer, and I'm the chairman of the Foundation for California. I'd like to begin the remainder of the program with a few words by Rabbi Yitzhak Yad Adlerstein, who is Director of Interfaith Relations for the Simon Wiesenthal Center, and a very dear friend. Rabbi?
It's a pleasure and a privilege to represent the Simon Wiesenthal Center and Museum of Tolerance at this wonderful event, bringing of our movable exhibit, Courage to Remember. Museum of Tolerance opened in 1993. We currently host 350,000 visitors a year, including all elementary school children in Los Angeles school districts and school districts throughout Southern California. It's become one of the premier destinations in Southern California. I'm also happy to represent my mother. I grew up with survivors. My mother was a survivor. She told us stories from an early age about, as a young teen, cleaning up the remnants of the burnt-out shell of her synagogue in Konstanz am Bodensee in southern Germany. And I got to know survivors. I had no choice. Survivors, many of them never made peace with the past. How could you? Some were able to gradually get used to what the rest of us would call reality. One of the reasons that they were able to do so is because even though they couldn't make sense of what happened, they were able to find purpose in what happened. They saw themselves as perhaps giving something valuable to humanity. They were certain that what they had gone through would teach man the limits of man's inhumanity to man, and never again would there be such a thing as a genocide. Never again would the rest of the world watch as they knew that people were dying by the scores, by the hundreds of thousands, by the millions, and not lift a finger and not position themselves to be of help. Unfortunately, the greatest nightmare of my mother's generation is coming to pass. What people did not believe could happen, that there would be other genocides, that anti-Semitism would rear its ugly head again, unfortunately has become a reality. By law, the United States State Department has to release a report on anti-Semitism once a year. And the reports are not good. They show a steady increase in anti-Semitism, especially around the world. This includes the old genteel anti-Semitism that went underground for a few decades because it just wasn't PC to talk about. But now you can have people in the House of Lords declaiming about those people. The new anti-Semitism, in which hatred of Jews becomes commingled with over-the-top criticism of the State of Israel, so that the mayor of Malmö, Sweden, a community in which lots of survivors thronged to after World War II and is beset by anti-Semitic incident after anti-Semitic incident so that old people cannot walk out in the street. The mayor said, well, if they want to live safely, let them get up publicly and dissociate themselves from the State of Israel. And a different kind of anti-Semitism. Recently, British authorities had to pull Saudi Arabian textbooks from after-school teaching in London, in the public schools, they don't call them public schools, of London, because they were just full of canards, not about Israelis, but about Jews. To paraphrase Bismarck, while the situation is serious, it is not desperate. We at the Museum of Tolerance are fortunate that, unlike other museums, when we take part of our exhibit, when we take 40 panels and take it to the road, we're not just giving people a taste of what we have to offer. We can actually distill the message, the key core teaching of our institution. And that is what we are so pleased to be able to partner with you today, to be able to take the lessons of bigotry and intolerance, the fact that hatred is a continuum. What you will look at is the end of that continuum, the worst of what bigotry and intolerance can lead to, but there's lots of bigotry and intolerance around, and the only way to deal with it is to teach people about what it can do and how to prevent it. We thank you so much for partnering with us in making this a teachable moment and making that moment happen. Thank you.
The Foundation for California, of which I have the honor of being chairman, is an educational organization which tries to stimulate public discourse on important issues of the age. It's sponsored exhibits throughout California on such subjects as diverse as Native Americans, the Holocaust, and other subjects. And it's held symposia, not just in California, although many in California, but in Washington, D.C., and abroad. In the early 1990s, the Foundation for California undertook taking this particular exhibit around the state to enormous applause from schools, libraries, and other public venues. Indeed, it was in such demand that, frankly, we ran out of resources. We're back. We're back because we have a wonderful partnership with the Simon Wiesenthal Center, our foundation, and SNCF, the French National Railway, who made a contribution that allows us to undertake further Holocaust education in California. So we are partners, and in fact, I have to add one more element to the partnership, and that is California State University at Long Beach, who has so graciously hosted us here and opened their doors to us. And so the four of us together will make a difference, and we believe we can make a difference. Before I go on and introduce others, I want to introduce three survivors, because it is the survivors of the Holocaust who really speak by their presence more than any words can say about the meaning of the Holocaust and what it did to not only Jews, but to the planet. One of them will speak a little later in the program, but right now I would like to introduce to you Gerda Seifer. Gerda Seifer. Mel Mermelstein. And Inga Johnson. Inga was spared the death camps, but she remembers Kristallnacht in Germany and how the synagogue was burned and how her school was burned. She was only 9 then, and as she points out, nothing is more important to a 9-year-old than her school. So she was fortunate to come to the United States, but we're very grateful that she could join us today. Let me just make reference to some people, a few people who made this happen before I get on to our speakers. President F. King Alexander of California State University at Long Beach, and we are grateful for his assistance. Provost Don Parra, who you heard from a little earlier. Thank you, Provost. Dr. Fadi Esmail, Homeland Security Director, Office of Congressman Dana Rohrabacher. Etienne Ferrer, now you'll have to forgive me if I don't say these names as they should be pronounced. But Etienne is the Deputy Consul Attaché for the Consul General of France. Benjamin Malfoil, he's from the press office of the Consulate of France. Tracy Mayfield, librarian. Tracy, where are you? Are you here? Very good. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you for opening the library for us. Roman Cochain, yes, please. Dean and Director of the library. Roman, are you here? Very good, okay. Thank you. And Daniel Colano, CSULB Library Facilities Manager. Thank you. He's got the heavy job of getting the room set up for us and making it all happen. So thank you, Daniel. I'm delighted by the fact that the College of Liberal Arts are sponsoring this program. The liberal arts, as you recall, are the arts that make us free. Both Mayor Foster and I were fortunate enough to have a liberal arts education as younger men, which has served us well over the years. The arts that make us free. And so this exhibit is part of those arts that will make us free by helping us to remember, by reminding us of memory, and the memory that led to such tragic consequences. So hopefully, it will not occur again.